First off, guys, I really want to say that I loved the story of Dispatch. I loved the characters, and even Flambe grew on me. And I know what I said, right? I said I hated the dude's guts, but he really did grow on me. But let me take a step back and let me actually get into this review. The story of Dispatch kept me hooked since day one. And part of that is actually due to the developers releasing 2 episodes a week. And the other part is what we, as Robert, would have to deal with in each of those episodes. Whether that would be giving hints to our superhero identity, picking who we want to cut from the team and who we want to join the team, and whether or not we want to smash or punt a villain.
I get it.
The story is about Robert Robertson III, also known as Mecha Man or the next Mecha Man. You see, Robert comes from a family of heroes who would take up the mantle of Mecha Man. It first started with his grandfather, known as Mecha Man Prime, and when his grandfather passed away, his father would take up the mantle, and he would be known as Mecha Man Astral. And after his father passed away, he would take up the mantle and would be known as the next Mecha Man. But after everything in the game, I think I'll just call him Mecha Man Beyond. You know, get it? You know, like Batman Beyond, because Batman's in the future and everything. Yeah? No? Okay, no. So like his father, he would continue the legacy that is Mecha Man. He would stop criminals, protect the innocent, and serve his community. But Robert would have another goal in mind. You see, Robert's dad didn't pass away like his grandfather did. His father was actually killed by someone from his own team. We would later know him as Elliot, but we would know him first as Shroud. Eventually, he would find one of Shroud's henchmen, interrogate him for the location of Shroud's hideout, go in, and bring down Shroud once and for all. Except everything didn't go as planned. He fell into a trap and lost his suit in the process. And after spending a few months in a coma, giving a speech at a press conference, and nearly getting beaten to a pulp, he would be approached by a hero named Blonde Blazer, and she would offer him a proposition. Work for SDN's Phoenix program and get your suit fixed. And thus begins Dispatch's wild ride of a story, complete with themes about redemption and what it means to be a hero, as well as cursing, nudity, physical abuse, and a lot of HR violations. Oh, and I can't continue talking about this game without talking about the characters. From beginning to end, the characters in Dispatch felt real. So real, in fact, that when one character sacrificed themselves, a lot of people cried, especially me. The fact that this game made us care about these characters and story over the span of 4 weeks says a lot about the writing. Now, you can't have a story like this without having some great visuals. Now, if you get the deluxe edition of Dispatch, you're able to read The Art of Dispatch, where we get to see the designs of the characters and Dennis Leonard talking about how they wanted to combine realistic character performances with a Western anime art style. Compared to The Wolf Among Us, where its visuals look like a gritty comic book with hard, thick lines, Dispatch is more smooth, clean, and vibrant. Not to mention, the characters in Dispatch move a lot more fluidly than the characters in The Wolf Among Us. And they really hit the nail on the head with the visuals. And honestly, when I first played the first episode, the art reminded me a lot of the 2003 Sentinel series and the 2004 Iron Fist series. Now, the gameplay is very Telltale's-like, meaning the choices that you make in the game change how the story will end, complete with QTEs. Except the thing that's different in Dispatch is you don't take control of Robert and walk around in specific areas, and you don't have the option to interact with certain things and items in that said area, like in Wolf Among Us, Life is Strange, and The Walking Dead. And this is my opinion, but to me, I feel like it's a good thing they didn't add sections like that, because I feel like it would have hindered the story a little bit, but that's just me. Now, unfortunately, we do have to talk about some of the negatives that this game has. The biggest glaring flaw in this game is that the story pushes you to romance Invisigal. Even if you romance Blonde Blazer / Mandy, it's still pushing you to go with Invisigal. Hey guys, this is the Future Storyteller here. So I just learned that the developers regret not putting in more explicit scenes of the characters doing a horizontal tango. Now, some people might say that's a fumble on their part, But for me, I'm more of a bit of a split on this one. On one hand, it doesn't feel that much of a loss since I feel that the game still would have done well with or without those scenes. And on the other hand, I feel like if they added some of those scenes back in, I feel like that could have changed the dynamic between Robert and the character you're trying to romance. Say in episode 1, we had the option to, have a one-night stand with her, and then in episode 2, when we learned that she's dating Phenomaman, how many of us would actually try to continue the romance? How many of us would try to be with Blonde Blazer? And the same goes with Invisigal. What if we had that option to have a one-night stand with her in episode 3 and or 4? How many of us would actually, kick her off the team, and how many of us would actually still keep her on the team, especially after the whole Chase situation? And how many of us would still pursue that romance with her after learning she worked with Shroud? But that's just me. That's just my opinion on this type of situation. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, what you guys think, if they should have kept it in there or not. And another flaw with this game is that it's a Telltale's game. Now, this isn't me saying this game is a terrible game because it's a Telltale's game. Far from it. But if you're a gamer that mostly plays Call of Duty, Marvel Rivals, Dead by Daylight, and Soul type games, yeah, this is something that's not going to be your cup of tea. But I would still highly implore you to give it a try. I assure you, it's an experience. So, what do I think of Dispatch? First of all, I gotta learn how freaking Robert and Shaggy have this unparalleled amounts of Riz. And Dispatch is one of those games that come around once in a while, gets you so invested, and then leaves a void when it's all said and done. It's absolutely great. I'll see you guys next time.